Hosted by David Thomas, Bill Anderson, Kenny Parker, and Jason Boyette. Brought to you by First Bank and Kincaid Service Company. Let's get ready to talk some sports. Here are your hosts, David, Bill, Kenny, and Jason.
Welcome to Bedford County Sports Live. I'm Jason Boyette. We're going to start off a little differently today. Today we're here with the community softball girls, the 23-2 softball girls from community. We're here with Coach Cam Farrell, who's a school resource officer and softball coach. We're here with Annie Prince, Haley Webb, and Carly Blanton. We're going to be interviewing them today, talking about their season and what's to come. But we're going to begin by taking a moment to hear from our sponsors, First Bank of Shelbyville and Kincaid
Service
Company.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
Welcome back. Again, I'm Jason Boyette. Today we're going to be interviewing the community girls softball team, who's won 23 games and only lost 2. We're going to start off asking Coach here a few questions, and then we'll get to the players. Coach, first of all, I've already said your record, but when does the tournament start?
So the tournament starts this coming week. We have a bye Monday because we finished number 1 in our district. So we'll play the winner of 4 and 5 on Tuesday, and then we'll play again Wednesday to see who advances to the championship game on Friday.
And these are at Unionville? At
Yes,
community?
sir.
All right. So hopefully get a big crowd out. Coach, how long have you been at community, both as a school resource officer and a coach? How long have you been there?
So school resource officer, I've been there 13 years, and I've been coaching community softball for about 14 years.
Okay. So it's had time to build the program. What got you into coaching softball? Who's your mentors, or someone in particular that got you in?
Well, I'll tell you, long ago, 2004, right after I graduated high school, my friend Kayla, she just came up and was like, "Hey, you ought to help me start coaching my sister's team." And I was like, "All right, let's go. I don't know nothing about softball, but let's go see."
Mm-hmm.
And I just when I started with it, I just kind of fell in love with it and just been coaching since then.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a good job. What do you love most about being a coach? What is it that makes you get up in the morning and want to coach?
To see where they are after school, after college, just to kind of see what kind of human beings they have developed into, and just to kind of see if I'm doing my job as making sure they're ready for society and ready for the world and ready just to be the best versions of themselves.
Yeah, life outside of softball. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us about last year. How far did you make it last season?
So last year we won the district championship and we won the region championship, but we fell short in sub-state. We got beat by Cheatham County 3-4. But we had a great year, and I'm very proud of what they accomplished last year. But we want more. I mean, that's just.
Which is my next question. Yeah. What would it take to consider a successful season? What do you think you have to do this year?
Well, our goals is, we want that ring.
That's right.
So we just got to stay locked in to taking it one game at a time, and whoever's in front of us, we have to deal with them and then move on. But the end goal is we want a ring.
Want to get that ring? Absolutely. All right, let's talk to the ladies here. So, introduce yourselves first of all, and tell us who you are. Who's your family? Are they from here? Tell us that kind of stuff. So, we'll start with you.
My name's Carly Blanton, and I am from Unionville. All 13 years I went to community. My family is the Griffies. Most people know the Griffies in Bedford County. I'm a 4-year member on the softball team.
All right, played all 4 years. All right.
I'm Haley Webb. I moved my sophomore year from Forest to community.
Okay.
I've been to a lot of different schools.
Yeah.
And
decided to settle here, huh?
Yep.
All right. What about you?
I'm Annie France, and I went to Liberty till
Okay.
I was in 8th grade, and then I moved to community.
All right. Good. So, why do y'all like playing softball? What is it that got you into softball? What makes softball so much fun?
Well, I grew up around it. My mom used to be the president at the Musgraves Field in town, so I basically lived there my whole life. But I just fell in love with it when I was young, and I just kept playing, and I just kept pushing myself every day, and just kept loving it.
All right.
My sister played softball ever since I was born, so
Yeah.
I was always around it, and I just love it.
Okay.
My dad used to play, and so he kind of introduced me to it when I was little.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've just really liked it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, tell us about playing for Coach Farrell. What makes him so good?
He's fun to play for.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he makes it really fun. He definitely gets on to us when we need it the most, but he loves us like we're his own.
Okay.
And you can definitely tell on and off the field.
He makes it fun. He's not always just serious. He lets us have fun so we don't get tired of having a coach that's just yelling at us the whole time.
Right.
And so it's fun.
He just yells when he needs to, right?
Yeah.
I like the fact that he pushes us and doesn't give up on us. And even if we're having a bad day, he's there to help us. And it's not just fix it. It's here's how you can fix it. And he's very supportive.
Kind of correction, tells you how. So, do any of y'all plan on playing softball after high school? You're a senior, right?
Yes, sir.
So, do you plan on playing somewhere after here?
Yes, I'm committed. I'm signed to Marion Military Institute in Alabama.
All right. Now, what about you? What grade are you in?
I'm a junior.
You're a junior. Do you have any aspirations of playing after high school?
Yes.
All right. What about you?
I'm a junior, and I want to play in college.
I gotta want to play. All right. So, tell us about this tournament next week. How do y'all feel? Y'all nervous? Excited? Ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're ready to play. Get to the state tournament.
Yeah, that's
One
it.
game at a time, though.
So tell me this. So starts next week. When will the state tournament start? How long will it take to get to that point?
It is from next week. I think it's 2 weeks.
Next week is 2 weeks.
No.
It's the week of our graduation.
The 22nd. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's a little bit more. But
yeah, so 2.5 weeks.
yeah.
Maybe you'll have one of those big rings then.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what we're aiming for.
That's right. Y'all are having fun with it?
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's good. So the 2 losses, you want to talk about the 2 losses? I know it's more fun to talk about the wins, but the 2 teams y'all played, will y'all have to play them again?
No.
Mm-mm. We played a really good Eagleville team. That pitcher that's going to Ole Miss, Addison Linton. I've played against her in travel ball, but she's a really good pitcher. But Annie held a good game against her the whole game, and it was a pitching duo right there. So, yeah. But
y'all would never have to meet them again, so that's good.
Yeah.
And of course, Beach is a great big high school, so y'all would never have to play them either. So who are some teams out there in front of you that you think you'll probably end up matching up with at some point?
Definitely Summertown. Definitely, if we take care of business, Liberty Creek. Liberty Creek's pretty stout. Summertown's pretty stout. And Forest is not a pushover. I mean, that's the immediate team.
Right.
So those are some of the stronger teams that we play. And also, Cascade is very talented. That's another team that's immediate that could be an issue. There's several teams that we better be on our business or we could get in trouble. So
now, is next week double elimination or single?
It's double.
Okay. Now, obviously, Forest would be a big game for you. A lot of your old teammates on there.
Mm-hmm.
So Forest and Cascade probably your 2 biggest rivals, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, girls, Excited for y'all. Hope we get a big crowd out next week. What'd you say again? Tell us again when you play.
So we'll play Tuesday
of
next week and
All right.
Wednesday of next week, and then the championships on Friday.
All right. So Tuesday and Wednesday, championship on Friday at Community High School.
Yes, sir.
And fans can come out and watch.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully get a big crowd out. So
the gate price is $10.
$10.
That's the agreed tournament price, but we hope to see everybody come out and support.
Hopefully we'll have a great big crowd out there to see y'all play. We're pulling for you here at Bedford County Sports. So at this time, we'll take a short break, and we'll be back. We're going to hear from our sponsors again. We're going to hear from our sponsors, First Bank of Shelbyville and Kincaid
Service
Company.
Great job.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
Welcome back to Bedford County Sports Live. Coach Kenny Parker.
Nice to be here.
It's good.
Good job.
Great job, guys.
Good job.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
About as good as your team.
Yeah, sometimes. I learn from the best.
There you
That's
go.
right.
I'm going to tell you, this was just an outstanding run for y'all.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm proud of them, man.
Not just this year, but
No.
about the last 4 years.
About the last 4 years.
Yeah.
He's definitely built the program. Now, your middle school girls.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
tell about the middle school girls because y'all.
So they went. They were supposed to be in a rebuilding year.
Yeah.
And so Coach Haywood, who's done a great job, she is now the athletic director, and Carla Pena, that's a former player, and Marissa, she's a former player for me for travel ball. They're both coaching the middle school now, and it was kind of like a no time off.
Yeah.
They worked those girls, and they ended up going 20-0. And like I said, it was supposed to be maybe we'll win a couple of games, and they definitely did way more than that.
Carla was Cam's startup.
Yeah.
She was his pitcher
Mm-hmm.
that got it rolling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She's the one that got it rolling.
The thing I've noticed is how many shutouts have y'all thrown this year?
Oh,
It's a bunch.
It is, and she's thrown. Prince has thrown 2 perfect games. Westner has thrown, I believe, 2 or 3 shutouts, and so I've got 2 pitchers with ERAs that are next to none. So I mean,
Amazing. Really, really good.
No.
Let's catch up on some scores, guys. Had senior night up here at Shelbyville. 14-3, Shelbyville beat Tullahoma. I don't think Tullahoma's real
Wow.
happy. They got 10 runs in that one.
Sure enough, 14-3.
So that was senior night.
Yeah.
Now, the tournament didn't start off as good for them. Columbia beat Coffee County 6-0. And then you had the big pitchers duel up here with Stephen against Columbia's stud. It was 1-1 in the 7th.
Yeah.
And Columbia hit a 3-run shot.
Mm-hmm.
So now Shelbyville's in a bit of a bind. They got to play Coffee County. If the rain will ever let them, you got to win that one. And then you'll have to beat Columbia twice in a row.
So they're playing a full bracket, sort of like we're doing the state tournaments.
Right.
Okay.
But you got to look at it this way. This is where Scott Hall at Webb did a good job, and I think Chase does a good job at Shelbyville. He plays in these tournaments, and a lot of teams don't because they want their record to look good. Well, he'll go play 4 games over here. Doesn't care if you – I mean, you do care, but it teaches you to pitch.
We need a break.
Want to take a break?
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break and be right back.
Because we just froze.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
No.
Is Columbia pretty stout?
I got one really
When
good
that one
pitcher,
pitcher pitches, yeah.
and he's as good as anybody. And him and Steven pitch. It's,
We're
we're back ready to roll. All right, I had a
Good.
technical difficulty. We're going to rehash basically the what we were saying. Columbia beat Shelbyville 4-1, which set up the situation where you got to beat Coffee County, win 2 in a row against Columbia. But what I was saying was these tournaments that we played in, Scott Hall does it at Webb. They're making a little run here late. You get to where when you had to play those tournaments, you got 8 or 10 people that can pitch. Everybody's got 1 or 2.
And the way they're doing their tournaments, you've got to have pitching.
Got to have arms available. And that's why I still think Shelbyville can make this run.
Especially with the pitch counts.
Yes.
At the 120, yes.
You know, you just can't have 2 or 3 pitchers and get into a situation like this, you're in trouble.
Yep.
Right.
So that's how that sets up for Shelbyville, which is kind of interesting. Now let's talk about Community and Cascade. Well, that was a big game here. Community and Robbie Davis pull off the upset win over Cascade.
Yeah.
Earlier in the week, Cascade beat them 7-1. But when it counted, Community comes back, knocks Cascade out with a 6-5 win for Coach Davis.
And Coach Davis was smart in holding his ace pitcher
right
and using him when all the marbles was on the line to advance to the region tournament.
And that's tough for a coach. Do you use your best pitcher first, or do you wait to hold back?
To hold back, because you know you get everybody going, "What's he doing? What's he doing?" And now when he holds back and it comes through, hey, that's a great job.
That's a great job.
Like, no, yes.
All them armchair quarterbacks.
Yeah. So community moves on, and of course we've been all through the softball here. But Dr. Garrett, I saw her yesterday. She said she can't retire till you all win a state championship. Well, it's not even an option for her.
She may not be back next year.
She may not be, but Webb boys had a tough go here earlier in the year. Tell you what, Scott Hall got it going this week.
They're playing well.
Franklin Road Academy 5-4 win.
Good.
BGA 11-6 Webb win.
Wow.
Then they beat Columbia Academy, who's pretty good.
There you go. He does have it on the road.
So he's got him on a run here late.
Those are 3
top-notch baseball
that
teams.
Play baseball. Private school baseball play. He does have it on the run.
Scott Hall did the same thing that Shelbyville did. They played. Look at these teams that take Lincoln County. We probably played 10, 12 more games in Lincoln County. Webb's the same way. They went to all these tournaments and got their arms ready. And now here at the end of the year, it looks like they're going to make a nice little run.
Right.
Which is good to see too.
Yep.
Got to keep them busy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back. We got a lot of stuff to cover. We're going to cover a little Tennessee action real quick. We got a little football, portal news, and we've got more basketball news. Hey, with this portal, Kenny, it never stops.
Never stop.
No. I mean, you can go one day and get on the internet and go.
Got a whole new team.
You got a whole new team the next day.
Yeah,
let's take a quick break and we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little college real quick. And we'll hear from our sponsor, First Bank and Kincaid
Service
Company.
We'll be right back.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
Welcome back to Bedford County Sports Live. We're going to talk a little Tennessee. We got some football news, guys. There's a transfer coming in from Grand Valley State, Josh Shell, 6'4", 275, NIL guy.
What's he
coming
play?
In from there? He plays defensive line. Tennessee lost 2 kids to Deion Sanders in Colorado this week. They lost John Slaughter and Larry Johnson, the third to tackle, but they picked up the corner from Colorado with a portal gain of cornerback Colton Hood, who was supposed to take Travis Hunter's place.
Another trade there.
So it's almost like another little trade. Yeah. But here's the big news. Jake Merklinger, the quarterback, gets a new NIL deal. Okay, now you didn't pay Nico, and I get it, but my sources tell me we paid this guy $1 million.
Well, that's
Wow.
still half of what they was paying
Right.
the other one, so they made money.
Oof.
Come out. That's good math.
Yeah,
right?
that's good.
Well, I mean,
they
you know,
come out.
yeah.
They come out all right.
Oof. I don't know about
What
that.
did Aguilar get?
Well, Aguilar got some money. I don't know what he got, but I'm assuming this will be a battle. But boy, it's getting expensive playing quarterback, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, I've heard that on these upper echelon teams, $4 million.
Oh, I've heard that too.
$4 million. So if they're just paying $1 million, yeah, they can go out and get 3 more.
Yeah. Till they put a salary cap. We gotta have a salary cap.
Gotta have a salary
Gotta
cap.
have something like that.
I agree.
I got a request here from Robert Davis.
All right.
Coach D had a question for Coach Cam. Can I borrow a trailer so we can fix our trap brake? He's laughing, ha ha ha. No one works harder than Coach Cam and Coach Grooms and those softball girls. A true program.
Appreciate that.
All right.
Can't beat Coach D.
Yep.
Can't beat him. All right, Tennessee basketball. They get a transfer. Amari Abrams, 6'4" combo guard from Louisiana Tech, 4-star recruit at Ole Miss. Had a really nice freshman season a few years ago, but he was a Kermit Davis guy. When Kermit leaves, he left, went to Georgia Tech, went to La Tech. Good-looking player here for Coach Barnes. He knows how to hit this portal as good as anybody.
So this is his third or fourth school?
This will be his fourth
I
school.
think 4 and 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
But he's a lefty and he can play. He's a good athlete. He can defend.
Evidently, he only wants him for 1 year.
Well, I think he's.
I think there's a lot of 1 year
I
guys.
think there's a lot
Yeah.
coming. Now, here's the guy that impressed me, Clarence Massamba
Yeah.
from France. He's 6'6", and when you watch the tape, and a certain guy athletically just stands out to you, this guy does that. He's playing semi-pro ball in Europe. He can shoot it. He's a defender. He's lengthy.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, Tennessee on paper, I'm not so sure. You got the number 2 player in America, Nate Ament, coming in, who's got Kevin Durant-type skills. I'm not so sure on paper. This isn't as good a team as Tennessee's ever had.
I think
So
it is.
Tennessee's portal money is better than semi-pro portal money. That's why the guy left semi-pro to come here.
Got to have long money.
Well, I would say that's probably absolutely. I would say it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But nobody hits this portal like Rick Barnes.
What do they say? Money talks.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, now you got 12 really good players. Last year we only had 9 on the roster, so this is good for Tennessee. Yep.
Now we can press and play full court and get up and down the floor.
Well, I think there will be a chance to do that. And I mean, I go back to how Nolan Richardson did it back in the 90s. Yeah. He pressed from – it didn't matter what
he got off the bus. He was ready to press.
He was ready to go.
Yep.
Well, guys, let's take one more break. We'll come back, and we're going to talk NFL draft. Green Bay Packers, little Titans. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
All right, NFL draft's over, guys.
Mm-hmm. I'm having draft withdrawals, man.
I am too, man.
But here's the thing. They're grading the drafts right now.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a grade on your test before you ever took the test?
Right.
I mean, we don't know whether these guys are ever going to be able to play in the NFL game. They were good college players, but will they play? But now everybody's being graded on how good they are.
Right.
And
we won't really know for 3 or 4 years.
Exactly.
I mean, really, it takes 3 or 4 years.
Here's the way I feel like you determine how good the draft was is how many of them do you sign for a second contract?
Yeah.
Or how many of them get a second contract?
Yeah.
That's great.
Because in Nashville, not many of them do.
Yeah.
That's been the problem.
Maybe with Nashville, but with somebody. Yeah.
Right. Cam Ward, of course, goes number 1. We covered that. The second round pick was Alejo out of UCLA, an edge player that we traded down and picked up a third round pick. And then Kevin Winston Jr. from Penn State, who had a torn ACL, partially torn. He was probably a late first, second round talent, good value for the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
We covered that last week.
Yep.
But what we didn't cover was in the 4th round, first pick, Shamike DK, wide receiver, Florida. Did you like that one, Jason?
Not as much as the 4th round pick. I like the Stanford guy better than I did the Florida.
This was
and a lot of
Yeah.
people were that way,
Yeah.
but they got this guy for his speed. His speed. And early in the 4th round, if you stayed and watched much of the draft, it was all about speed. Almost half the first half of the 4th round was all about speed, offensively and defensively. Everybody was drafting speed because you can't coach speed.
Right.
No,
not at all.
You can't. Well, you can coach it, but you can't teach it.
Yeah.
But just because you run a 4.34
doesn't mean you're
you
going
play
to be
a
good.
4.34 speed pads on.
Right.
But
And that's
then
what I
again,
would say about this kid watching him at Florida.
But
he didn't
again,
look 4.3 to me.
he played at Florida against competition every week. The guy from Stanford not necessarily played against that same kind of competition. His numbers might have been better, but this guy.
But the Stanford guy had one big game against Travis Hunter.
Yep.
Over 200 yards.
And that's why Tennessee got him, because they know they're going to go against Travis Hunter twice a year.
Yeah.
Well, the next pick was Gunnar Helm, tight end from Texas.
This one's a good pick.
I think it's a good pick, but it was kind of odd that I don't think this coach uses 2 tight ends much. It's a 3-receiver set. I was kind of shocked.
Do they have another tight end?
They got Wiley and they've got Chigakonkwo.
Yeah, they got him, but
athletic.
Yeah, probably so. And then here was the pick that we all liked. They move up, and they moved up, but they didn't trade much. They swapped 6-round picks, and they get Eric Amano from Stanford. And, of course, this was the best receiver on the board at the time. Against Colorado, 269 yards, 3 touchdowns. But this was half of his stats in one game against Colorado.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at just the Colorado thing, you think we got the best receiver in the draft.
Yeah.
Right.
But the problem is you got to also look at all the other games.
And a lot of people like this guy from Stanford.
Yes, because a quarterback at Stanford was bad. Their offense was bad, but I think he's a pretty good player, and he runs well. Yeah. He's 6'2", 215, and runs a 4.40. 5th round, Jackson Slater, guard center, Sacramento State. Had a really big Senior Bowl. They're saying he's got a future. Maybe as the center guard.
From a small school, and he was he was a late 2nd, early 3rd round for a lot of people. So that's a good
He
good
really
quality.
held up well at the Senior Bowl. Marcus Harris was the cornerback from California they took. The only problem I had here is it looks like we've got a lot of 5'9", 5'10" corners covering 6'3", 6'4" receivers. And that's tough.
That's the NFL,
Because to me, a 5'9", 5'10" corner is a nickel corner.
Well, here's the thing, and when you get down in the 6th and 7th round, those are the kind of corners you're going to draft, because all the others,
the big boys are gone.
They're gone.
Right. Yeah. Khalil Mullins from Michigan, an interesting player that played linebacker, converted to running back, had nearly 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns from Michigan. He's strong.
He is.
And the thing about some of these guys when they're drafting down through here like this, you got to play special teams.
You have to.
Yeah.
A lot of these players will be special teams players that are big time part of the game.
I think that's what the receiver from Florida that we
got
is
he's a special team.
Right.
Yeah, he's a special team.
Perhaps the best non-pick of the draft. We ready for this one? Who would that be, Jason?
The guy from Miami.
Xavier Respo. Let me just tell y'all about this kid.
He's undrafted.
Undrafted because he ran
he was one of Cam Ward's favorite targets.
But he had a hurt hamstring and ran anyway. Kid probably shouldn't have ran.
Yeah.
Right.
You watch the tape, this kid's a whole lot faster than 4.8.
Yeah, that's fine.
Before Cam was ever there, he went 85 catches, 1,092 yards, and 6 touchdowns. With Cam there, 69, 11, 27, and 12 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He broke Michael Irvin's receiving record at Miami.
He's a receiver or tight end?
He is a receiver, and he is in the line of Julian Edelman, if you remember him with the Patriots.
And Tennessee, we said they were needing receivers. They were needing weapons on the outside, and that's a familiar. That'll be a good one.
That'll be good for Cam, I think. Have somebody there with him.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been fine if they drafted him in the 4th round.
Yeah.
I really think this guy makes the team.
You're better off getting him as undrafted.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. All right, concerns I see for the Titans is except for Snead, all the cornerbacks are 5'10" or shorter. That's a problem. I don't know if they have another starter at linebacker, and they need another edge player. I really wish they hadn't cut Harold Landry and created all.
And here's the thing: when you going in, they weren't going to be able to solve all their problems with this one draft.
Of course not.
They were, and we said going in, if next year he can get to 6, 7. If he gets to 7 wins, I know it's a 17-game schedule,
Right.
and 7 wins would still put him at 17.
I take that.
That would be a good
Right.
win, and it would still hold him up high enough that you probably going to get a top 5 or a top 6 pick next year. So
it all comes down to Cam Ward. If Cam Ward hits, it was a good draft.
Great draft.
If he doesn't hit, it was a bad draft.
I agree, 100%.
It all comes down to that one pick.
Yeah, and 1 year's going to be too early to evaluate that.
Yeah,
especially with not the weapons around him that he's got to have.
There was 2 teams out here that got knocked by these draft pundits, and it was the Texans and the Packers. And the reason they knocked them wasn't the picks. It was because they took too many receivers. And I'm sitting here looking at it and going, well, in Green Bay's case, you got Matthew Golden. I'd make the argument maybe the best receiver in his class. And you got him at 23. Savon Williams is a chance at 6'3", 222, runs a 4.39 40.
I was talking to Aaron last night. He said he reminds him a whole lot of, golly, here I'm going to blank, guy from Ole Miss that the Titans had that went to the Eagles.
A.J.
Brown.
Oh,
yeah. He said, Daddy, he's not hardly as thick in the lower body as A.J., but he is a...
The Packers would take that. They would take that in a second.
And Anthony Belton, I told y'all before, the offensive tackle from NC State. I love that guy. I thought he was a first round.
Well, here's the thing. I don't care what everybody says about what the Packers did. The Packers drafted, they didn't need a starter.
Right.
They drafted for depth. They drafted a lot of big people in the line. And they're drafted for competition in practice.
Yeah.
Okay. I got this. You saw me get in my wallet a while ago. Ron Wolf, which was the guy that's mentored, had a guy ask him one time, was talking to him about, what kind of player. And he told the guy, this is a quote from Ron Wolf, said, "You're not a great football player, but you are a solid football player. Somebody who can play the game. But realize this, you're only here until I can find somebody better than you are."
That's exactly right. You're
only here until I can find somebody better than you are, and that's the way the game is.
Yeah.
You're here. Tennessee got what they got, and you're going to be here until I can find somebody better than you are. When I find somebody better than you are, you're going to be going, and that's the NFL game.
Yeah.
Well, the knock on the Texans was the same way, and I'm going to go back to the Packers on this as well. They got Jaden Higgins and the other kid from Ohio State, Jalen Noel. This was 2 of the best receivers in the draft.
Yeah.
The Texans got him. Well, why did they get him? Tank Dell had a major injury. He may not be back. And if you're going to pay a quarterback, guys, you got to give them weapons. Let's go back to Jordan Love for a minute. Well, the Packers didn't need these receivers. Other than Jalen Reed, who's a pretty good player, Christian Watson can't stay on the field. Wicks drops it too much. Nicole Hardman, they signed, has never been very good. Absolutely, the Packers need these 2 receivers.
I don't know why somebody's saying the Packers didn't need receivers, because all I ever heard, and a lot of them, they don't have a wide receiver one. They don't have a number 1 wide receiver.
That's all I've ever heard. Won't take one in the first round. But in today's game, it's a passing game. You need receivers. And if I'm going to pay a quarterback $45, $50 million, give the guy some weapons to throw it to.
And that's what I've been talking about the Ward kid. You can't critique him till he's got some weapons.
You've got to have people to throw the ball to.
And you got to have people that can defend him to give him some time to throw the ball.
That's right. Absolutely.
Because if you don't have that,
I do think we're better off on the offensive line going.
I agree 100%. I think the Titans are better, and they drafted better. They drafted a couple of linemen that I think can help them.
Yeah.
And they got some out of free agency also. So
I got a question for y'all from the gallery over here.
Sure.
Gallery.
We were all through before the draft. We were like getting mad every week over some move that they were making. Have we changed our tone on that since the draft?
Well, everybody changes the tone because everybody's got a chance now. But I think somewhat we are, David. But again, once we start back next year and there's about 3 games in, then I think our tones will change again.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is too, a lot of these moves, they matter 1-year moves. Okay, and that's fine.
And a lot of
but
people
that also means it creates a whole nother hole next year.
Well, they have to do these 1-year moves,
right?
Because we just talked about the NIL and salary cap. The NFL has a salary cap. So they can't afford to go out and sign Bill Anderson for 4 years and Bill not be the one. They'll give him 1 year. And if he pans out now, hey, we'll talk about another deal during the season. But because of that salary cap, and like the Packers, the Packers, they had to draft like this because 4 years ago he had a great draft, and all those guys are coming up that's going to have to be signed for second contracts. And I'm sorry, you can't sign them all.
Not when you paid the quarterback.
Well, you
There goes your money.
but the quarterback can help you. But we talked about that a couple shows back. What Tom Brady did, he sort of gave
took less money.
And I think
we got some chat coming in here.
All
Tony
right.
Sanders, I'll let you talk to him about his comment to you, Kenny, but he directed a comment to you about you could outrun one of these guys you were talking about. And I don't see it. But anyway, Max
he said, I don't see it.
Let's go Vikings.
Yeah, here you go.
Glenn Tidwell says, high school spring football practice underway. More than welcome to come watch. Good luck there, Coach Tidwell.
Good luck.
Yeah,
exactly.
And he's doing a good job.
I can outrun one of the guys.
That's what Tony Sanders says, and you just go ahead.
Thank you, Tony. I knew I had a lot of y'all didn't know my speed.
No,
we know your speed.
He ain't seen me running.
We should do like that Rich Eisen.
Right.
Yeah.
Kenny running the 40.
Yeah.
With oxygen at the end.
Get a calendar.
Absolutely.
You know who Cam Ward reminds me of? He reminds me of Jordan Love of the Packers. That's who he reminds me of. If we can get Jordan Love production, I'll take it. But it's a good draft for us.
I was watching something. I got to watch all this stuff. Jordan Love and the guy that signed with there's a quarterback from Michigan last year, J.J. McCarthy, are the only two quarterbacks in the last 10 years that were drafted in the first round that didn't start their first season at some time or another. Yeah. And JJ didn't start because he got hurt.
Right.
And Jordan was behind Rodgers. But some of them are they going to start them? They're the only two quarterbacks in the last 10 years in the NFL that were drafted in the first round that didn't start at least.
And Cam he's going to start week one.
He'll probably start week one.
Start week
unless they can find somebody that is better than Levis.
Well, they did a really good job of finding two quarterbacks that were worse than Levis. So I will give them credit for that.
I don't know. Boyle might be better.
No. All right, guys. Hardest hitters in NFL history. Who wants to go first?
I will.
Who's the number one on your list?
Night Train Lane.
Night Train Lane. That's a good one.
Played for the Los Angeles Rams. He changed the way the game was played because he outlawed the clothesline. You're talking about a man that changed the game. Yeah. Go back and watch it.
Yeah, I didn't know much about him. I read about it. He's on my list
Night
too.
Train Lane is
sound like I had to change the rules because of him.
Man. Yes.
Jason, who you got?
I had the same person. I didn't know him. I have to say I had to research him, but I watched videos and he was the real deal.
Coach Cam, who you got?
Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor's a good one.
He's a good one.
Lawrence Taylor.
David Thomas and I looks like we're sharing a brain. We both had Dick Butkus.
Yeah, Butkus is good. Okay. I tell you what, Lawrence Taylor changed the game too.
Yes, he did.
Because he made the left tackle. He made the left tackle prominent in NFL because he always came from the movie The Blind Side.
Right.
He made the left tackle in the NFL the highest paid offensive lineman because of what he could do coming off the edge.
Yeah.
Jason, who got number two?
I got Ronnie Lott number two.
I love Ronnie Lott.
Any guy that'll cut his finger off just to play in one game.
Yeah.
That's a tough guy.
Kenny, who you got two?
Jack Tatum.
Jack Tatum, love Jack Tatum.
Oh, Jack Tatum was awesome. He's a player. Yeah.
David Thomas has got Ray Lewis.
That's Ray's. I got Ray's on my list.
Yeah, he's on mine.
Ray is. We talked about we had to go back old school. We had to go back because of the rules now. Ray is probably the one that most people know that he could do it within the rules of the game today.
Yeah,
because of the way the hitting has been outlawed.
Right.
And when we talk about a lot of these players that we're talking about,
we're going back in the past because you had to.
You had to.
Right,
yeah. They had to change the rules.
I think Ray Lewis is kicked out of games now for just the way he played 20 years ago. He's thrown out.
Yeah.
I miss the old game myself.
Well, I'm telling you, I was talking to my son last night, and I brought this stuff up to him. And he said, Daddy, these guys are so big now. If they let somebody hit somebody like that, we'd have to have an ambulance at every game.
Yeah.
And probably two.
I mean, defensive tackles were
because
250 then.
Yeah, because somebody might get hit and the other team get mad, and then it's all over. Because they're going to be
bigger and faster and stronger.
Everybody going to be taking shots at everybody.
Coach, who's your number 2?
Well, coming downhill with bad intentions is John Lynch.
Yes.
John Lynch was a player.
John Lynch.
That's a good one.
He's a good one. He's on my list, too.
Yeah.
No, and I got one a little different. Jack Lambert, Pittsburgh Steelers.
He's a good.
He'd scare you to death just looking at him.
Yeah,
and he'd hit you.
no teeth.
No teeth.
No teeth in there, and he'd come at you.
And Jack Lambert was one of those that they didn't. He was a draft pick that they didn't think a whole lot of when he came in. He was.
All right.
He made himself.
David Thomas, number 3. This one's different, but I like it. I forgot about Steve Atwater. That's a good one.
Steve Atwater was
he could hit you.
You know, Coye,
Yeah.
Lit him up in the hole one time.
Yeah.
Y'all look at the video.
Yeah.
He came with bad intentions.
Kenny, who you got 3?
Well, y'all mentioned a lot of them. Dick Butkus is one of them that I had, but I'm gonna bring up somebody that we hadn't mentioned that needs to be mentioned. Just so his name is, because I know he needs to be in there. Is James Harrison.
James
played for
look at him.
And he's one of the modern day guys.
Right. Jason, who you got?
I had Lawrence Taylor at 3.
Lawrence Taylor at 3.
Mhm.
Good one. Coach, who you got 3?
Sean Taylor.
Oh, Sean Taylor.
I
Forgot about him
know.
too.
Yeah, I know. There were a lot of good
Matt
ones.
Maxey on chat here. He just threw up Sean Taylor.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I had Jack Tatum at 3 again. I mean, with the Raiders, Jack Tatum was awesome.
Jack Tatum was.
Notice the name I put on him down there.
Yes,
What'd you put on there?
the assassin.
The assassin.
Yeah,
that's
that's what he
what
was
they call
known
him.
as, the
Yeah.
assassin. Yep.
All right, Coach, number 4.
Ronnie Lott.
Yep.
Love me some Ronnie
Yeah.
Lott.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
some Ronnie Lott.
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
Jason, who you got 4?
I had Dick Butkus at number 4.
All right. Kenny, who you got number 4?
I can't think of nobody that y'all hadn't already said. I had one, but I forgot what his
What
name
about
is.
Dawkins at the
No.
Eagles? I thought about
Here-
him, but I
here-
didn't put him on there.
Yeah.
And I going back old school, y'all probably won't know this one, but he played center and he played middle linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he was a bad dude. Chuck Bednarik. I don't know if you ever get a chance, Google out there, go to look to watch Chuck Bednarik play.
What years did he play in? What decade? You remember?
In the
50s, 60s?
late 50s, early 60s.
So he played both ways. Played center and turned around, played no side.
He's one of the few. Like Dick Butkus was in that time. They were at the edge of that time. But
That's cool.
Chuck Bednarik played every snap,
Yeah.
center
Wow.
and middle linebacker. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of
Gotta
times
be tough, huh?
you see guys play
Right.
maybe a tight end or a running back, but a
Right.
center
You busy
and a
every
middle
play.
linebacker.
Yeah.
Back when, if you was lucky,
You don't
had
even have
one
to
bar.
move. You can just turn around.
If you was lucky, you had one bar.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
All right, number 5. Jason, who you got?
I had Jack Lambert at number 5.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Coach Cam, who you got?
My wife will be proud of this one, but Brian Urlacher.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't
Brian
think
could
about
Brian
him.
did
play.
He could
yeah.
hit.
And
was good.
here's the thing: Cam's got a lot of the guys that didn't go back old school with that
Right.
I know,
that had to
that's
do
more
it
modern.
within
Yeah.
that had to do it within the rules of the
Right.
game today.
David
Sure.
Thomas has got John Lynch.
Yeah, hey, I'm tell you what. To be such a nice looking
I
guy
know.
when he's up there speaking for the 49ers,
Yeah. You think?
and
man,
you
this-
would think, yeah, he
One of
played.
his last years, I
Yeah.
went to a Titans game when we were playing the Cardinals, and he come up and he knocked the fire
Yeah,
out of Chris Johnson a time or two,
Mhm.
and I mean he was hitting all over it.
He delivered what we called at Cascade the chin chins.
Yeah.
The chin chins.
Yeah.
Because if you got a chin chin, that means you got hit in the chin and you was looking up at the chin. That was chin chin.
I got a different one for you. Bill Romanowski.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, he'd bite you.
they-
for a
they-
little bit.
right
Bill
now.
Romanowski would hit you and he'd bite you.
Yeah,
He might leave with your whole wrist.
yeah, and take it with you and be eating it like it's right here for the next play.
But you know, a lot of people think when we think back, we always think of Joe Montana and the
Yeah.
offense. But boy, they had Ronnie Lott and Bill Romanowski. They could get
Yeah.
after you on
I thought
defense
it was
too.
fitting that he went and played for the Raiders later on.
Right.
That's where he fit. Right
Yeah,
there.
Right.
that's
Yeah.
exactly right. Yep. Very good list.
It was a very good list.
Very
Anybody
good.
on honorable mention we didn't mention from anybody?
I thought the Dawkins of the Eagles.
The
I thought he should have
Dawkins
been on
was
Rod Woodson.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about Troy Polamalu?
Troy Polamalu, the safety.
He was a player.
Yeah,
but he wasn't a.
maybe not as good of a hitter.
He wasn't a
Ball
chin
hawk.
chinner.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
He was all over that field.
He was all over the field.
That's speed, man.
Right.
Hey, can we do in honor of Coach?
One of the old guys that I got this shirt on now. He wore number 66.
Yeah.
Now I can't even come up with his name.
Played for the Eagles?
No, he played for the Packers.
Oh, Nitschke?
Ray Nitschke.
Yeah.
Ray Nitschke
It's a good one.
Hey,
was a dude.
He's gonna like this one. Can we do the best offensive lineman?
Best
That's
offensive.
There you
lineman.
go. Best offensive. Let's do a best offensive lineman.
That's going to be fun.
I
I'm going to
mean,
name a Titan right off the bat.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know.
That'll be.
Hey, and I got a picture. Hey, when you name it, I'll show you a picture that I got made with him.
Yeah, all right.
Hey, that's my favorite offensive line.
Oh, Tony Sanders, Lester Hayes.
That's a good one by
There's a
Tony
good one.
Lester
Yeah.
Hayes. I forgot about
Lester
him.
Hayes and Tatum together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were.
Mm-hmm. They might stick to each other with all that
Yeah,
stickum that they
boy.
had on.
Yeah, they might, for sure.
If you think about the great teams of the '70s, the Raiders, the Steelers, they were defensive teams.
They were.
The Vikings, the Purple
Mhm.
People
Purple
Eaters.
I got another.
Yeah.
We go if Cam, if you'll keep winning, I got one for after this. The worst quarterback that just hung around in the league for no reason. I can think of several quarterbacks that were terrible, but they just hung around.
Bill's got them now.
Yeah,
Play for the Titans.
They didn't hang around that long. They weren't good enough to hang around very
Get
long.
rid of them.
They didn't hang around very long because they weren't good enough to hang around.
Quarterbacks you just couldn't figure out why are they still playing.
Why are they still playing? Yeah.
That would be a good one because there's some of them that stay around 15, 16, 17 years and never did nothing.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure we get that one on.
Dude,
That'd be a good one.
There you go. Got to keep.
But as
playing.
Jason would say, they're good at holding the clipboard.
Good at holding the
Yeah.
clipboard. Someone's
Football
got to hold it.
That's right. And the little wire back in the day.
That's
for the
right.
headphones.
Yeah.
All
And
right,
grab the coach if he gets in trouble. Hold him back.
I think before we get said and done, have we done the coaches? Did we
Yeah,
do the
we did
did
that.
the
Yeah, we did
coaches?
coaches.
That was
Okay.
our first one.
All right.
You
That
missed
just,
that week.
okay. I wasn't here that week. All
So
right.
Coach Tidwell was on here. Does the committee have their spring game yet, or when's that coming up? You know,
I
Coach.
think they're just
I'm
now
not
starting
sure.
practice.
I think
I think
so.
practice starts this
Yeah.
week. I think this is their
I know
first
Shelbyville's
week.
just starting too, and
Yeah.
next week we're going to have Coach Dryden on from Shelbyville
Good.
to talk about the spring. Their game is
All right.
May 16th at Columbia.
Okay.
It's a big spring game.
Well,
Mhm.
it's a big spring game, and I know Coach Tidwell's got the same thing. You got a lot of baseball players playing
Yeah.
baseball,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I think that's why the football coaches tried to put it off as long as they could to get their
Yeah.
baseball kids in for the spring.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's just good to see that the kids play and more sports kids can play. To me,
I
the
agree.
better.
Matt Maxey's already brought his quarterback pick up. Joe Flacco.
Can't
He's
get
gonna
rid
play
of him.
this
He
year.
starts somewhere every year.
Man, he won a
He's
Super
starting
Bowl.
for
Probably gonna
somebody
start for
every
the
year.
Browns.
He's going to start for the Browns, and he did win a
Yeah.
Super
But
Bowl.
let me tell you something. He had one of the best deep balls I ever seen.
Played good last year, last
And,
couple
you know,
of years.
some of those quarterbacks like that, you know why they're still around? Because they played for teams that had good defenses.
Yeah.
True.
True.
Their
Yeah.
defenses
Trent
was good.
Dilfer.
Yeah,
I
Dilfer.
didn't say that.
Dilfer that played for the Ravens. He couldn't play nowhere else, but they
Right.
he won a Super
He
Bowl
did.
because they had Ray Lewis and
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Same team Joe Flacco won the Super
Yeah,
Bowl with.
same one.
Same one.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll be back here next week. Coach Farrell, great to have
Yeah,
you on
yeah,
here.
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and we hope
Appreciate y'all for having me.
you got a chance next week to come back up here with. I can't say this because I might be on the field, so I got to keep it impartial.
Yeah.
But good luck in your
Appreciate you.
tournament.
And that's one thing.
Along with everybody, good luck.
Yeah.
Cascade and whoever's listening out there, good luck to. I know this next week is all about district play for baseball, softball, soccer, tennis, and then the following week when we do our show next week, everybody will be in region, and they're 1-2 wins away from state. So
Big week coming up.
yep.
Big week.
Absolutely.
Hopefully get better weather.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
well,
so-
Monday and Tuesday look good, but any days after that, it's not promising right now.
Let's thank our sponsor, First Bank, right here in Shelbyville, and Kincaid,
Service.
Company.
Yeah.
right here in Shelbyville. We'll be back